Hello and welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This midweek episode, we'll be looking over exactly what people are crying about on the forums once again, because there is a lot of this that is happening. This comes out on the day that patch 11.0.2 comes out, I believe. This is basically a big patch where there's been a load of different class balance tuning. This is before the Wolven, and it also comes out on the day that I believe the login screen for World of Warcraft has opened. So you open World of Warcraft, and for the past couple of weeks, you have seen this circle, this orange, reddy circle, Now it is actually open. It is a portal, and you can see the zone of. Is it Khazalgar? It's the city. It's the Earthen Dwarf city. It looks really cool. It looks a lot better, and it's just a lot more refreshing, essentially. So we'll see if anyone has anything to complain about with that. But I do want to mention. Now, I've been going through a lot of the WoW posts recently. I usually look at WoWhead, like YouTubes and stuff, and I'm very disappointed that there was no video that was dropped on the WoW official page yesterday. This is with regards to the Threads of Fate series. So this is the Harbingers, the Warbringers, the Lords of War series, them ones that they do before an expansion hits. Usually they do one video weekly, and last week it was Queen Ansarek and the sort of Nerubians that will be fighting in the very first raid and stuff. But yesterday was the day that everyone thought that something was going to drop, and there was no video. There was a video, and it's a sort of Q&A and going over, PvE, PvP, delves, etc. Nothing that we didn't really know. But the Threads of Fate is what everyone was expecting, so it was a bit of a disappointment. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that we're going to get no more? I highly doubt it. I think they will do at least one more, but usually they're coming sort of in a group of 3, these sort of video series. They might drop today, literally as this episode comes out. They might drop tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Who knows when they'll drop, but I still think that there will be 3. I think that they're putting a bit more suspense on it. So if you look at the dates wise, next week, if they bring it out on Tuesday, it will be the 20th of August, which means that it will be a week away from launch, technically. Not a week, but, a week for some people. Because it comes out on the 26th, if I remember correctly. And then this means that on the 27th, when the game is out, they will have one of the videos that are in there. And I believe they did this for Shadowlands, if I'm not mistaken. They did it for a expansion, but I can't remember which expansion they did it in. So I'm pretty sure this is what they're going with. So on the 20th, be sure to have a look on the Warcraft website around 6 p.m. Are we GMT now? Is England GMT? I think it's still BST because clocks haven't gone back. So BST, anywhere around that time, I believe that they might throw it out there and, give us an extra Threads of Fate video to watch. And then the following week on release day or a day after release, they will give us the 3rd video. I still think that these are going to be potentially Anduin and Xalatath or Illyria. Could be many of these different characters. We'll just have to wait and see. But the forums, I want to get started on this post. So, this can't go on. What can't go on? What do you think can't go on? Now, I'll tell you what can't go on. They seriously need to stop adding unnecessary things into the game that nobody asked for. Okay, what do you think these unnecessary things are? Yeah? What do you think? Go on, give me your best shot. Are they going to be small, like, sort of micromanaging things that you have to do? Or pet battles, or PvP, or PvE, or, questing, or, like, attunements? What do you think it is? I'm talking, of course, about delves. Okay, delves, the newest thing that is in the expansion. Okay, why is no one asking for delves? Nobody asked for Torghast 2.0. Nobody wants it. Everyone's sitting here saying how it's going to be different this time, how it's going to be better, how they're how they've seen it, tried it even, and it was great. Okay, so people have actually been enjoying it. That's really good. Guess what? Torghast was also great back when people tried it. And then what happened? We ended up having to do it for 2 years, and all of us hated every second of it. Just stop. Nobody wants this trash in the game. Firstly, I enjoyed Torghast. I enjoyed the concept of Torghast. What people didn't like about Torghast was the fact that you were forced in there every single week. So you're forced to do Torghast every single week because you got a currency called Soul Ash. And this Soul Ash was used to create your legendaries. And if you missed a week of collecting your Soul Ash, you would simply not get your legendary for an extra week, which isn't fun, which means people had an extra piece of gear that was a lot better than yours. So you're at a disadvantage if you're doing PvE, PvP. So the reason people hated Torghast was because it was a forced system. Okay? People didn't hate Torghast because of Torghast. People hated Torghast because it was forced and it was a mandatory thing that had to be done. Okay? That's the difference between delves and Torghast. You don't have to do delves. Okay, delves are just there for people who want to do not PvE, not PvP. They just want to do some solo content, some stuff with friends, some stuff with family, and, get a great vault slot out of it and just chill. It's nothing too serious. Torghast, you had to do it. If you didn't do it, you would fall behind on your character. If you fell behind on your character, you'd do less healing, less damage, less whatever. There was real repercussions if you didn't do Torghast. That's why everyone hated it, because they were forced to do it. It's like how everyone hated doing the quest for the, save the souls in the moor. It was a weekly quest that you had to do, okay? You were forced to do it because of, I think it was Anima or something like that. And it's the same with, the progress bar where it's aid Revendreth or aid Bastion or aid whatever it might have been. You had to do them quests, and you had to do it within the week. Now, a week's a generous time period, but if people were going on holiday for a couple of weeks, you're not going to have that. You won't have a couple of weeks worth of WoW, and then suddenly you're 2 legendaries behind, you have no anima, you have to grind everything every day to even catch up, and there was no catch-up system until 9.2 or something. It was very late on within Shadowlands, which is horrendous, by the way. That is ridiculous that it took that long. But the reason people hated Torghast was because they were forced to do it. Not because they didn't like the concept of it. It's because they were forced. When the Jailer's Gauntlet came out for Torghast, this is the one that when you enter Torghast, you go to your right, and you have these 8 sort of layers that you do, and you just kill mobs in very small rooms potentially, and essentially that's it. You get a certain amount of powers after each room, and you're good to go. This rewarded cosmetics, this rewarded mounts, battle pets, and so on. This is a layer, or what would it be? A wing of Torghast that everyone enjoyed because it wasn't related to player power. It was related to cosmetics. This is why people wanted Torghast for the cosmetic ideas, not for player power. By all means, have it behind player power, but the way that it was gatekept meant that you had to do it in the first few weeks to get your legendary, otherwise you were going to be behind. And being behind in an MMO is never good. You should always have access to all of the best gear that you can possibly get by farming it yourself, okay? No time restrictions, no anything. Well, time restrictions on certain things potentially, but you know what I mean. If you miss a week, you shouldn't be punished that much for it. If any, at all. It's ridiculous, and that's why people hated Torghast. Delves look decent. I'm not going to be doing them, but I might do them while I'm waiting in queue for, PvP. I might do that, if I can, that is. Some people might just want to do them every now and again, The more casual players will certainly want to do them because they're sort of mini dungeons that you can just do and have fun in and chill and still get some decent gear from it because of the Great Vault. So this is a very good reason, and this is the reason why I think delves will do well in comparison to Torghast, because there is no player power built behind them. Okay, it is very much cosmetic based, it is very much for fun, and it's very much for the enjoyment of the players, not to force them to get legendaries. That's why Torghast was bad. That's why Delves will be good. And this guy is just ridiculous. Like, I don't get it. Has he tried Delves yet? It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, the best thing about this is there's someone who like replies to this and just puts, "I asked for Delves." His reply to this is, "No, you didn't. You hated Torghast and you'll hate Delves. Remember this post when you do 3 months from now." This guy literally says he wanted Delves, and the guy is telling this guy that he didn't. I think the dude who asked for Delves would know if he did or didn't. And he's also saying that he hated Torghast. He didn't say that he liked or hated Torghast. He's just making an assumption there. Now, look, this person clearly is trying to bait. Surely it's trying to bait. But Delves is going to be one of those answers for endgame content, solo endgame content, because the ones that you have at the moment is battle pets, dungeons maybe, like mythic dungeons, but then you have to do that in a group, so it isn't really solo or just questing or achievement farming. Delves is a very good way of getting some gear whilst doing solo content, and I think it will be very, very good and something that is welcomed in the community. At least I hope so. Next one. Hunters should be best. Okay, now can you guess what class this person plays? BM Hunters should be the top 3 specs in damage, in my opinion, because Hunter is one of the oldest classes in the game. Yeah, okay. One of the oldest classes in the game. So what about warriors, druids, rogues, priests, paladins, shamans? Am I missing any? I don't think I'm missing any. Mages, warlocks. Yeah, all of them classes should be the top 3 in the game because they're the oldest classes. It makes sense. It has lots of things that need to be tracked as well as micromanaging your pet. Okay, BM Hunters. What you have to track is your barbed shot, okay? So essentially, when you use a barbed shot, you get 1 stack of a barbed shot thing, like buff. And this increases your haste or something by a certain percent. This can stack up to 3 times, and you want 3 stacks as often up as possible. It has a 10-second duration, and pressing barb shot refreshes the stacks at 3 stacks, okay? Now, essentially, this means that you're weaving in 1 barbed shot every, several seconds, okay? It's not that tough to micromanage. And as for your pet, you don't need to micromanage your pet that much. The assist function, pet UI within World of Warcraft has gotten a lot better since Classic. Whoever you're attacking, your pet will go on to them naturally, okay? Now, you can macro this into abilities to just say pet attack. It's very simple. Now, as for micromanaging your pet, you really don't. Draw a sacrifice, as long as you're in line of sight of your pet, you'll be fine. Draw a sacrifice, or... Nope, mastering cool. Yep, that's the freedom. As long as you're in line of sight, you'll be fine. There isn't much micromanaging of your pets in PvE or PvP when it comes to BM Hunter. Now, there are certain things that you can do, which takes a lot more skill, such as the misdirect, like PvP talent, as well as getting your pet to eat traps and stuff if they're in the right position. There's multiple different things that you can possibly do, but certainly this spec does not have more micromanaging or more management needed than, say, a mage or a warlock or a druid or most caster classes. Even survival hunter needs more managing than BM hunters. It has a large player base of people who are both new and those who are unable to play other specs due to limitations. Stop nerfing it and make it one of the best specs. Oh, this is just poor grammar. One of the best like it's supposed to be. That's just poor grammar. There's no comma there. Or there's meant to be a comma there. Now, no. The easier classes shouldn't be some of the top DPSing classes. Okay? Fury Warrior, very simple rundown. You press Raging Blow, and that's kind of it. And Bloodthirst, and then you press Rampage. Okay, Rampage whenever you have enough rage. That's very simple. BM Hunter, Barb Shot, Kill Command. And then when you burst, you press Call of the Wild. Your I forget what it is, primal instinct, predatory instinct, something like that, which increase your pet's damage by 15%. And then essentially that's it, because you don't have death chakrams anymore. At least I don't believe you do. That's it. And then you press kill command and barb shot. That's it. And that's the extent of it. It's crazy. Whereas for Boomkin, I've got to manage dots, and then I've got to proc an eclipse, and then go into star surges, and then incarn, and then maybe like bear form if I have to go like defensive. For mages, you're blinking constantly. You're looking to get CC, polys. For warlocks, you're looking to get fears, and then set up your big chaos bolts, or like keep your dots rolling with like affliction warlocks or demonologies, especially. Demonology as a pet class has way more management to do than BM hunters, by the way. I'm just putting that out there. It is a lot more intense than BM hunters are. It's ridiculous. So this guy, I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous. Some of the easier classes should not be the highest DPS in classes. The highest DPS in classes should be those that can find their windows of opportunity and do what they can with it. So Arcane Mage is a very good example. You have a sort of 12-second window where you can do an insane amount of damage if you get that like burst correct. But if you don't, you're doing nothing for the rest of it, PvP wise anyway, like damage wise. So in that time you're CCing, you're kiting, you're peeling for your team. So BM hunters are peeling for their team naturally, because you just disengage in, you trap the heal, and then that's it. You raw sacrifice the target that they're going, and that's kind of it. And then you're doing full damage at the same time, 24/7, because your biggest cooldown, Bestial Wrath, is always up. It is always up, okay? It is a 1 minute cooldown, or 1 minute 30 or something, but it's more like a 30-second cooldown, because barb shot reduces, or it's barb shot or kill command, either reduce the cooldown of your kill command by 12 seconds. That's not right. And you have 2 charges of barb shot. So every 2 charges of barb shot, it's 24 seconds. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is not micromanaging or like having to track stuff. This is just a simple spec, and it's a gateway spec. It's meant to be an easy spec for those that want to get into the game, to be honest. It is very much like that. So, I don't know. This guy clearly is out of the loop with it. And it shouldn't be anywhere near the top 3 DPS, like damage specs in the game. That is where I will end it for this episode, though. Thank you all very much for listening. Do check out all of the socials down below. Constant stuff happening. I want to apologise for Friday's episode last week. It took me several hours to get it uploaded. I'm not sure what was happening. Hopefully this one is not the same, and it will go live as and when I want it to. But thank you all very much once again. Do check out merch as well in the socials. I do forget about that, but constant stuff happening up there. Go with Valor, friend. And take care all. Goodbye.